understand this topic very well, we should know what a grant is. And according to the dictionary, grant is an application to receive. So, which means if I want to receive something from you, I will do what? Apply. It could be oral application. Please give me your what? Your Bible. I'm doing what? Applying to you so that I can do what? Receive. So that application to receive can be in any form. It can be, as I say, I've given an example, Biro. You're applying to receive what? A Biro. Or you're applying to receive an item. Or you're applying to receive what? Money. All this, you beg, it's just using the layman language, it is what? Begging. So when you are applying for a grant, you are begging for something. So grant writing is no other thing than a process by which you apply or you beg somebody. And in this grant writing, you are looking for what? Money. You are not looking for any biro. So in this grant writing, your aim is to do what? Get money from what? Somebody. So I'm getting money from somebody. First of all, in our data, before we go and beg somebody money, we like to know who that person is. Is it the person that, if do I see him as somebody, if I approach him, he will do what? Give me money. Because it's not if you are not a professional beggar. Okay, money. Okay. If you are not a professional beggar, you can't beg everybody. So you will know who to approach in order to do what? To get what you want. Because you wouldn't like everybody to know you are what? Your problem. So you should know the person. And then you should know the tone. Okay, what and what will I say so that I can appease him to do what? Release that money. So let us not look at grant writing as something from the moon. That way you do what? You sit down, think over how much I need. I want to start a business and I need like 50,000 because I need 10,000 to buy machine. I need 5,000 to rent a house. I need this thing to do this. I need this one to do this. And when I sum it all, on the whole, I need 50,000. So because you cannot just go and say, I need money. You say, what are you using the money for? I just want to use it to do business. What and what are you doing? And when I see the money, I will know what I will do. The person will now say that this person is not worthy to do what? Receive my money. Because you don't even know what you are using the money for. So you are just eager to collect money. You don't even have a way that this, if I get this money, this is how I'm going to do what? Account for every bit of what I'm going to get from you. So this our ability to articulate all this and convince that person you want to beg that money from. Just when you put it in writing, it becomes what? Grant writing. Understood. So, we are going to, the outline we are having today is brief introduction, concept notes through grant what? Proposal, grant writing processes, tip for writing and submitting what? Good grant proposal. Essential part of a good proposal, then submission, the do's and don'ts of a successful grant writing, and funding agencies and what? Conclusion. So let's start from grant writing. You say grant writing is the application processes wherein the organization or what? Individual seek financial what? Assistance. Seeking financial assistance explains what it planned to do, how much money it needed to do it, and how the result will be what? Measured. The skill of grant writing is known as what? Grantmanship. So, you want an organization, UNN can apply for grant. Most of this thing, TED fund. When you go to school, you see TED fund building. They didn't just come and start digging foundation. You apply. If you go to so many universities, you see so many TED fund this thing. It's very, very, the amount of project done by TED fund is very, very low in UNN. Because the time they collected grant, but they couldn't do what? Explain how that money was what? Was spent. So you can't, if borrow from, is not borrow. One thing about grant is that it is not what? Borrowing. You are not meant to do what? Pay. But you must use it for what? What you say you are going to do. Understood? So, you must tell us how much you what? This is your plan. First of all, you must have what? A plan. Like most of you, the essence of teaching you this is that you may choose a topic, PhD topic, MSc topic, and that topic is what? Very capital intensive. That going by their mega salary, even though most of you are on fat salary, but some may be on what? Mega salary, which may not, by the time you say you want to use your money, you will go and borrow from bank, and that will put you in indebtedness throughout what? Life. So that's why the best way is to do what? Look for what? A grant. Apply for what? A grant. Because if you get that money, the only thing you need to do, focus, use it to do what you tell them that you are going to what? To do. If you tell me I need money to start up a business, that this, with this money now you are giving me, my business will grow to the extent that I can employ 50 graduates when in 3 years time. And I know that from this, if you give me money this year, by next year I should have added another shop. By next 2 years I should have opened 3 shops, and each of those shops will do what? Need at least 4 graduates. So the government will look at it and now say, that means our quest to reduce unemployment, it will be tackled if I empower this person. So what it will be, if you give you that money, in 2 years, it will come. How far have you gone? You told me that in 2 years you are going to open 2 shops. Let me see the 2 shops. If you say, sorry, I didn't open it because my wife delivered through CS, and I from that money pay hospital bill, the whole thing now, then you know that you have reneged on our agreement. So tomorrow if you come and say, give me, I will tell you there is none. I don't know whether you are getting me. So you must, that is, you must tell them, have a plan first, and that plan must do what? Align to the organizational goal. You know, we have these NDGs, Millennium Development Goals. These Millennium Development Goals, they say how to reduce what? To improve health in low income countries. How to reduce poverty. How to reduce what? Hunger. But let me tell you, there are many organizations looking for who to give money to. The money is not their problem. They have the money. They want who to give that money to. If you can do what they have in mind of what doing. You know of Melinda and Gates Foundation. You know of Tet Fund. These and so many other ones. These organizations are extremely what? Rich. That they can give you any amount you want, in as far as you want to do that thing that they have in mind. Some people may center only on health. For example, only on what? Health. So if you are talking of reducing maternal mortality rate, yes, if you are talking, they will be what? Listening. But if somebody's, this thing is mainly on agriculture, you are now trying to tell them, and you want to reduce maternal mortality, that thing, they can't give you that money because that money, that your goal doesn't align with their own what? Goals. So, the first thing you need to realize about grants is that writing and winning them is what? A process. Writing and winning them. You know, you see, they say winning. Winning in the sense that each year, these organizations, donor organizations, map out a certain amount of money that they will do what? Give. You heard of Tony Elumelu? That one is purely on entrepreneurship. If you bring health, that you just want to reduce the disease, that one is not. But if you tell them you have this thing, you want to build a factory that will employ thousands and this thing, they will listen to you. But what I am trying to say is that it is not only you that knows about that money they want to give. Millions knew about it. Millions want it, but they can't give it to the millions. You must convince them that you are better than every other person that applied for them to give you that money. So it is not just that you write, then hey, they say, okay, he has written, bring your account number. No. When you write, Bill and Melinda, they are not health professionals. I hope you know. Bill Gates, they say he fell out from school. So he may not do what? Know everything about health that you are talking. But when you write that, it goes to what? Stages. You will first those scrutinizing stage. Those people will look at, are you applying for health or you are applying for politics? Okay, this one is applying to use it for politics. We don't sponsor political this thing. So those people will do what? Separate them. Then, purely for medical, they will now call medical expertise to look into what you are saying. That you are going to build, make the whole of Nigeria to be polio free. You tell them what and what you will do to make them. So those experts will now sit down. He say he will immunize everybody in Nigeria in 2 days. They will 2 days. This one is just looking to collect this money, then separate it. So then somebody that has a detailed this thing, they will now, okay, this person is like, he knows what to do. Bring it here. They separate it. After which, they will now call you. They interview you. You can employ a good writer to, just like our politician, they will have a PA to the PA that writes what the PA to the PA will submit to the PA to submit to the president. And then you see the president reading it. It is not his write-up. So they will now call you. You do what? They will examine you to know whether this thing you put on paper really come from your what? Your brain. And then it is there that if you're able to convince them that they will do what? Okay, you are worthy to receive our money. And then that's when they can give you that. So it is not just writing, it follows a process. For you to write and win it, you must do what? Undergo several process. And the art of writing, grant writing, combines intimate knowledge about both the applicant and the grant what? Funder. So you must know what you are doing. And you must know what the funder does what? Want. So it's not you knowing only what you want to do. You must know what I want and make sure you marry what I want with what you want to do. And that's only when the thing can do what? Work between two of us. Values should be shared, a vision agreed what? Upon, priorities given, and suggested a strategy to achieve this priority established. So you must have a value. Your value may be to reduce the maternal mortality what? Rate. And that value you have must agree with the vision of the what? The funders. And so you must give priority to that and suggest what? Strategies to achieve those what? Priorities. Reducing, you may say, I want to do it through what? Immunization. I will start from so that I can allow the children, the people that have it to die. But in the next 2 years, nobody will have what? Such a disease, because I'm going to immunize people from age of 10 down, so that by the time in 10 to 15 years, when those people come up, there will be nothing like this thing. So you start to do what? Martial out step by step on how you are going to achieve such a thing. And when you are talking about grants, you must be what? Specific. If you want to write a grant now and say, I want to lift Nigerian out of poverty, nobody listening to you, because there is no way to measure it. But if you say, I want to lift 20,000 Nigerians out of what? Poverty. In that, within that, before the time you of that this thing, the process, you finish your work, when they come back to check, you must have what? 20,000 people whom you have established, and it is visible, though not audio. This one, the federal government is feeding school children, but across Nigeria they say they spend 900 billion, but you never see somebody from your side that has gone to school and they say they give him or her biscuits. So not audio assessment, real-time assessment. So grant writing what? Processes. There is a sequence of events that occur to bring the applicant stroke organization and the grant funders together. One of that is the generation and development of what? Ideas. Development of ideas. You must develop an idea before you look. You cannot just get away. Please give me money. So what is any? No, just give me money. When you give me the money, I will think of what to do with the money. So, and if you're a reasonable person, that's common answer. Sorry, there is no money, because you know that that person doesn't have what? Any idea. So you must do what? Develop what? An idea. And that idea must be what? Novel. Innovative what? Idea. What I mean is this. You can't just say, I want to apply for grant so that I will use it to paint hostel so that the hostel will look good. What value will it add? Is it if it looks good that the interiors and everything, even all the items in that house is now turned to new one by me painting the walls? So what I'm saying is that idea must be what? Novel. It must add value to what? An already existing what? One. That a product is novel doesn't mean that idea has never been in existence. You can upgrade on an already existing what? Item. Let me give you for an example. You know that there is AC, air conditioner, that chills what? A space, make it to be what? Cold. And there is fan that doesn't chill, but it blows air within so that the same person will be what? Cool. But somebody may not have the money to buy AC based on the economic status, but may have the money to do what? Buy fan. But that person that may not have money to buy AC can add little money to the fan and get something equivalent to what? AC. Something that is not as costly as AC, but not as cheap as fan, but gives you a superior this thing compared to fan. And that's why you know that there is fan AC. Fan that blows AC. They built it, pour water in something, that water will come to this, and when it, you will see it will cool you like AC. So that is innovation. It didn't, even though it uses what? Fan has already been what? In existence. But it added another what? Value, which is why you pay for it higher than a normal what? Fan. So that's why I said you must do what? Generate an idea. And an idea that you are going to must be novel in the sense that if you can't just somebody want to, I want to check the prevalence of TB in Enugu State. Why somebody has done prevalence of TB in Enugu State? Somebody will ask you, what additional information? What is that new thing that you are going to do what? To find that is different from what other people have found in their own district. So you must be in a position to state that thing. If there is nothing special that you feel that your own will add to the already existing what? Body of knowledge. Nobody is going to pack the money so that you can bring somebody's idea and replicate and tell me that I should sponsor you. I don't know whether you. So that idea must be what? Novel. So when you now have that idea, the second thing is to what? Identification of what? Potential funding. Which means you now know that I'm interested in what? Health. I will go to the what? To the Google and say, I want to list of funding agencies on what? That give grant on what? Health. The number will, the Google will give you thousands and one what? Lists. And then you start going to it. Click requirement. We fund only those in America. If you are not in America, you know that one is not for you. So you start to do what? Search until you find the one that suits what you want to do. That's when you have now gotten what? A potential funding. So you now acquire what? Guideline for what? From grant funders. Grant writing, as we say, is a very big business. Each of the funding agents must have what? Guideline. Some will tell you that what? You are going to, your grant proposal should not be less than what? Should not be more than 250 words. In that 250 words, you will say something about the background. of what you want to, what prompts you to do that thing you want to do? What are you going to do to solve it? What and what do you need? How much do you need? What and what are you going to spend that money on? Because you can't tell me I need 250 million, and so what are you going to spend it on? I'm going to buy buy computer. I'm going to buy gen. I'm going to buy. No, 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 no. They are not. That's not what you want to. I want to buy gen, 5 gen generators, each at 250,000. Because they will send somebody to know how much their money is not Father Christmas money. That you say, I will buy 1 gen, 3.5 million. I pass my neighbor 3.5 million because they are white now, they don't know anything. They will, before that money enters your this thing, they will come. That thing you wrote, if they go to the market and the price I pass my neighbor and say is 250,000, and you wrote 3.5 million, say this one is real rogue, and that is how you. So they may tell you that the heading of that particular write-up must be what? In Times New Roman with what? Font size 12. If you use any other thing outside that Times New Roman and font size 12 in the heading, this thing will be thrown to the trash, no matter how beautiful the write-up is, because what it entails is that you don't pay attention to what? Details and instruction. So that is why you must do what? Acquire their own guideline. What and what do they need from what? A potential applicant. And read it like, sure, you read it more judicious than you read the Bible, because any single mistake, if they say 250 and you write 253, they will understand, because I don't know what I'm to remove again. They will understand, because is it not 3 or is it not 251? Is not, it's still within the range. That one word that you added is enough to do what? To disqualify you, because you are not paying attention to what? Instruction. So that's why acquiring the what? The guideline is what? Very important. And writing the application in compliance with the what? The guidelines. And submitting the application. Submitting the application is another important thing. If they said application ends 10:29 a.m., if you submit 10:30 a.m., you are automatically what? Disqualified. No matter how good your write-up is. Administering the what? The program, if what? Funded. Finally, you have passed through the stages and they do what? Give you the money. Besides, that money is not charity organization or not Christmas, Father Christmas money. Because if you misuse it, you will go for it. It's not that if they give you money, you go and sleep and you expect them. If they come now and I tell them that I couldn't meet up, and they will say, okay, you couldn't meet up, bye. You will face the legal consequences, because before that money is remitted, you sign several agreements, which will determine what will happen to you if you fail to do the needful. So, what are the tips for writing and submitting what? Good grant proposal. Proposal, that those things you wrote, requesting for what? Such an application, such a fund is what we call what? Grant proposal. It is when they have approved that you now write the full details. Because how it's being done is, there was a place I said that it must be measured, which means if you will tell them, if you give me this money today, in 3 months' time, it's just like now, you say you are building this faculty now, they give you the money, and you tell them, in 3 months' time, this thing will be what? Out of the DPC. Because the whole money is not going to come out one day. If it's 5 million, let's take for example, the highest they can give you may be 1 million. Because based on, you will tell them from this to this, I should get this. They will give it to you. And then immediately that day that you say, from 93 months, today is 29th. In 3 months, 29th of August, they will land and know whether it has come out of what? The EPC. Because that will be the only determinant that will make them to give you more money. So it's not that if you apply 5 million, they will just carry the 5 million to your account. What you'll be giving will depend on how judicious you follow what you told them that you are going to do. So, first of all, tips for writing and submitting a good grant proposal is, number one, is reading the funding opportunity announcement carefully. That is the guideline. This funding opportunity announcement is the guideline. They are going to tell you when you should start to submit the application, when the application will do end. What and what are supposed to be in that application. So when you have read it very well, you have a conversation with your colleagues, because one, as you are now, you cannot just apply as a person and they give you. And you're a student of UNN. When you get, if you get the grant now running like, let's say 50 million, UNN will give you honorary degree in their next convocation. Because they will get part of the money. It is in as far as you a student of UNN. Something must go to the school. So you have a conversation. It may not be only you. What you may do, for example, the person that did that work of converting fan to AC, one, he sought the services of a programmer that build models of even that bucket, that I want the size of the bucket, so that with this size of bucket, the water there can be circulating for at least 1 hour or 1 day before you can pour another one. you may be in lab science, you don't have that idea. So that person will be part of your what? Your team. Somebody is in charge of that electrical. You may not be a professional in electrical. So you must get a professional in electrical, and then you do that. Then you as a postgraduate student, you are not supervising yourself. Somebody is supervising you. So your supervisor is part of your what? Your team. So, but the only thing is that you are the one that has the what? Idea. So you call them together and say, this is exactly what I want. You explain it. Then the what's it called? The programmers will now say, okay, we are, for this thing to run, this fan to blow for this particular time, it needs a capacitor of about this thing so that it will not overheat, that kind of thing. Then it will now program everything and watch it how it will work. Then it now carry that program to the electrical. Electrical will now say, this is the size of wire that's supposed to be connected to this and to that and to this. At the end of everything, you can produce what? A prototype. As in a toy of what you want to build. And then, so it is that thing when all of you have come back in this one make their own input, you put everything together. Because each of them will come with the cost. You put everything together, then that's when you can now start. They know you as the applicant, but you are not the only person behind that thing from the scratch to the what? To the finish. Like now, if I get a grant to build this thing, I'm not an engineer. So I must get an engineer who will get an electrical engineer, structural engineer, architectural engineer. All of them will make an input. But the only thing that when they finish, I will be the one to harmonize those things and put it in this thing. So then have a conversation with your colleague. Does your organization or research group have the capacity to accomplish? If you, there are so many things, there are some, this thing, if you look at it, they can give you up to $50 million. What we are talking about is dollar, not naira. $50 million. So if you look at that, $50 million, let's go to this one and apply for. When you don't have the capacity to do that, because as I said, it's not a Father Christmas money. If you renege on their any agreement, they will come after you. So you ask yourself, does our organization or research group has the capacity to accomplish what is described in the word funding opportunity announcement? Can you really do what is being asked? If you weigh all this and find out that we can do this, you respect yourself and look for one that you can do. So the next one is evaluate whether it is what you are what? Effort. Like there are some that maybe $20,000 or $1,000. And what you need to do, if you know how valuable your idea is, and you say, yeah, I know that this thing, if I get this $1,000, it doesn't worth this thing that I'm going to do. In that case, you look for one with a higher this. So look at your physical house. Do you have the physical infrastructure to meet the financial reporting requirement? Financial reporting requirement and the related what? Tax. As I said, you can't come and tell them you just want to mold cement. You will tell them that you want to mold 10 bags of cement, and each cement is supposed to get this block at, you give the price of one of the blocks so that every detail they want in that process is given to them. If you tell them that you are going to mold 60 blocks from one bag of cement, they will say no, which means this person wants to build a house that will collapse in 2 days. Then if you now tell them you want to mold 10 blocks from one bag of cement, they say this person is a rogue. So that's why I said it is a process involving so many things that is not about writing. When you write, other things follows before you finally get the thing. Ask your supervisor or your team not only how you will prepare a quality proposal, but also how you will implement that proposal and gauge the quality of your work. For example, they say that for you to have an objective of study, that objective of study must be what? One thing is that it must be what? Measurable. That is why you can't research on something like somebody can say, I'm working on evaluating how God loves me. You want to research to know how God loves you. What are you going to measure? How are you going to, what indices are you going to use to measure God's love? Is immeasurable. So on that note, you can't do what? Measure it. So on that note, that particular thing is what? Is what? Assess the specifics of the funding organizational announcement and how they relate to your research overall mission and what? Goal. So as I said, you must look at those things well to know whether it matches what you want to do. Ask question. Every funders organizational announcement include contact information for program, that's content of the proposal, and the grant management process, budgeting and reporting question. Because as I said, you must ask what are the things that are needed in that grant writing. So when they give you that, you look at what are the budgets. How do I prepare budget? Because in this case, please, if you want to write, don't use assume. What I mean assume is that, and you shouldn't be overzealous nor underzealous. What I mean by overzealous, underzealous is that you want to just be holy. A bag of cement is 10,000. Oh, if I put 11,000 now, they will say, hey, I've overestimated. No, let me just be holy and put 10,000. Do you know the implication? Tomorrow you may go to this thing and the price change to 15,000. Agreement is a agreement. So what I'm trying to say is that even as far as you should be somehow a little bit considerate, but you should put into what? Consideration, possible rise when you are doing, because the major thing lies on the what? Budget. Possible rise. So that, because if they say, you say, give me this, with this, I'm going to give you this particular this thing. They don't know what it means that you took into consideration possible rise in what? In the cost when you are. So don't say, okay, we are 1,000 that will apply. If all of them give 1,000 naira and I give 850, let me just use this thing to attract them. If they give me the money, then anywhere it stops, and then they will come and see that that's where the 800 stop. That thing, you are killing yourself. So what I'm trying to say is that you need to, in the budgeting, you need an expert that will help you to do what? To project what could be the possible, this is not instant. So that is where you gain from what? From grant. Because if you, that additional this thing you put, if you are lucky that price is stable within that time, those additional, and it is in dollar mostly, not in naira. So if it's $1,000, when you press the calculator, you know how much is entering your pocket after the. So participate in technical assistance call or webinar. This may be listed in the what? Funders organizational announcement, which means they from time to time organize webinar. If you go to their organizational web page, they will tell you programs they have. So in that webinar, they are going to be teaching you what and what they needed from anybody that is what? Going to apply. So if you know, hear from the horse's mouth, it will give you that leverage to do what? Apply and be what? Successful, because you have known the do's and the don'ts. And in that case, you can even ask questions to be clarified on certain issues. When you have completed your proposal, review it thoroughly. Have it responded. Have you responded to every ask? Have you adhered to page limit and file types? You see this thing, I say page limit, and there's 200 words. This word, any little. That's why when you don't write grant when you are in a hurry. Let's say tomorrow is the deadline. Hey, let me just. You are going to make heavy mistake, and the truth is that they don't know who is in a hurry while writing and who is relaxed while writing. The essence is that you were told to do this and you didn't do it. So for that, you are off. Read the proposal again and again and again. In this case, you give it to somebody to go through it, because if you don't dot your I's or cross your T's, you know, these are people that are giving you money. So they don't want to give money to somebody that is not calm and calculated, that can do silly mistake. You have where you put I, you didn't put I, and then you expect them to know that they should know that I'm supposed to put I there with their money. So that's So you can even ask a colleague outside your research group or organization to give you what? A critical review. You give them the person, the funder's guideline, and please, can you help me read through this and go through this that's guideline to know whether I'm within the scope of what they say I should do. So when you have finished this whole thing, that's when you will do what? You will submit. So what are the essential components of a grant proposal? What I said is that a grant proposal, you know, in PhD, you do proposal seminar. You must present your topic before you are what? Your department. So that they will do what? That proposal seminar is to critically review what you want to do and know whether if you are allowed to proceed to go for feed this thing. One, that you are collecting the right data. Two, that you are not going to get stuck along the way, because that is one of the things that can demoralize when you have painstakingly written the chapter 1, your supervisor approve it, chapter 2, supervisor approve it, chapter 3, supervisor approve it, and you now come before the masquerades and they use the eye that old man used to look in something inside the bag and look and say, if you allow this person to go continue with this at this particular level, is going to encounter problem. And when they tell you you should go and look for another, they say, these people don't like me. Why should they tell me? Because definitely for that work to be what? True, you must do what? Encounter that problem. So they have foreseen the problem and don't want you to do what? To continue. Because one, you know that before you graduate, you must publish an article from your what? Your work. Not any work. From this, your topic, in an impact factor what? Journal. A highly peer-reviewed what? Journal. During our own, they say it must be in Thomson Reuters Impact Factor Journal. So this, if you just, let's say, carry on this thing, maybe in some, department, if the department is not well organized, the supervisor will tell you, don't worry, don't mind them, they are envious of you. Go and continue. When you finish everything, you write your manuscript. At the time the editors review this thing, those flaws will be starkingly what? Clear. And if you submit it today, by next tomorrow, what you say, so we are sorry that this manuscript cannot be published in our journal. We wish you well in order and we hope to still do business with you in, and nothing demoralizes. In this case, you are finished too. So it's not a question of, let me go back and start collecting data. You have finished everything you are doing. Huh? You pay. No, you pay. There are some journal. No, see, if you want to pay, when you want, be careful of the journal you pay, because we have what we call predictory journal. You know, there is scam everywhere. Some journals, if you look at their name, International Journal of Biochemical Analysis and Quantum Discovery. Ah, eh? No, yes, the main office. So, if you hear such a this will be a good journal, and then you push the work. Tomorrow, work accepted, pay article processing fee, processing charge, APC, of $2,500. If you pay, they will publish it the next tomorrow. Nobody looks. Yes, now. They will publish it. You will say that this thing has been published. Then, if they look at it, if you bring it for you to now come and do your final this thing, they look at it, they say, this thing. And you know the implication. If you want to submit the article and next time, they will ask you whether this article has been previously submitted to any other journal. If you say yes, because it will bring problem between the two, that you are pirating, plagiarizing me. Yes, now they will show you that they first publish it. So why are you publishing my work again? So you see, a good journal must be indexed. We have good indexing. Listen, if any journal has Schemago journal ranking, SNP, Thomson Reuters, impact factor journal, then it means that that journal is authentic. But if you look at some of them that doesn't have any indexing and may not, if you go through their listing, they may just have started for 3 years. They have not lasted for more than 10 years and above. Because those predatory journals, they will just gather money, and I say you will put today, tomorrow it come out. No, so which means nobody, even grammatical error, no, they don't check for grammatical. As garbage, you bring it in, they bring it out for you. So that's why it is good that you do what? That proposal is well scrutinized. When they criticize your work, don't see it that these people hate me. You are not in the field. You are not in academics that knows the nitty-gritty of what? Of article manuscript writing. So, and then they've gone through it several times, noticed the loophole, and have foreseen that if you continue this, you are going to land into what? Problem. Because at that time, you have finished everything. But that publication, without it, you are not graduating. So that is the essence why no, like there are so many impact factor journals that you can publish for free. Yes. I don't think I've paid. journal that I even paid for his local journal. This, eh? Yes. Not for, there are a number of impact factor, this thing that you get. You need local journals to support it. But I've published in radiography. Radiography is one of the Thomson Reuters impact factor journal in radiography, and the cost like $3,000. I've published in BMC Medical Imaging. Their own is $2,900. I applied for all those ones, have what? Waiver for the low people from low income countries. So all, like in BMC and even in radiography, all you need to do is that get a letter from your head of department that you didn't receive any funding, which means this, you didn't apply for grant, you didn't get any grant to work on your this thing. But if you get grant, you must the money for because even your publication is part of that grant. Even the conferences that you are going to go and present that this thing must be included in that grant. I don't know whether, because if you find something, you must do what? Disseminate it, which is through conferences, paper publication. So all those things are, even the hotel, that transport to the conference, hotel accommodation, everything must be factored into that grant. So by the time you do all those things, you sell hotel accommodation maybe $22,000 a night, and you go and stay in your sister's place for that night. You don't get free 2,000. You don't get free 2,000 this thing. So the essential components, one, goals and what? Objective. The first one is that the title. The title. You know that in your PhD, your title has a maximum number of words it can contain, which is 25. So if you calculate your title, Obi is a boy from Anambra. If you go, Obi is a boy from Anambra, you not 6 words. You calculate your whole title of your thesis, it must not exceed what? 25. So in the grant writing, you must use that your topic is what you are using to apply for what? Grant. Is it not? Because you want to do the project now. So when you apply for that title must be what? Concise, and must what? Be such that it elicits interest. It must be catchy, that anybody that looks at let me know why this thing is so, than using an outrageous word that somebody, for you to decipher the meaning, you need to go and Google and then look for you to know the meaning of the topic. So after that, this thing, you must state what your goals and objective, because that your goal must align with the what? The funder's goal. And those goals are what? Intangible, while goals are intangible, while objectives are what? Tangible. Do you know why goals are what? Intangible. You said your goal is to what? Reduce maternal mortality. To reduce it. Is it tangible? Then you reduce something, you is not something you hold. But objectives are what? Tangible. What you must do. You must move from one place to another. If you are going to do what? Immunization. You must have an immunization kit that you say 10,000, which every time you put on the babies to do what? Immunize them. So, but after that tangible this thing, you are meant to have what? An intangible goal, which is the final result. Needs. Demonstrate through your proposal that you understand the task at what? Hand. If you have a track record, which means you shine. What do we mean by if you have a track record? If you have completed collected any grant before and you execute it to the letter, at the end of that thing, they will give you a certificate. That certificate, if you want to put it at the front in the appendix, put it at the front. Because when they look at it, this person have been, this person has been what? Tested and trusted. So they say the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. They have, even though there is element of this thing in this person, but he has tried and delivered. So who do we? This one you are talking that you are the angel himself. It's not better that we deal with somebody that is tested and trusted than dealing with somebody a human being can change. So that's why that means you have a track record of getting a grant and doing what? Completing that grant. So is a plus for you. So in that your that's in your objective, you need to demonstrate that in your proposal that you understand the tax. It's just like now your problem statement is that you want to reduce the maternal mortality rate of pregnant women. And then you now tell us that how you are going to reduce the maternal mortality rate is that you are going to enroll school children at the age of 5 so that they will be teaching them. How does that enrolling children at the age of 5 reduce what? Maternal mortality. So you are not, you don't understand what you are meant to what? To do. So response and impact. Show how valuable and necessary your project will what? Will be. How valuable and what? And necessary your project will what? Be. And this is found, in this proposal, you have the what? Background. Background of your study. For example, if I want to talk about child what? Reducing maternal mortality in this thing, my background could be that I may say that pregnancy is a process whereby somebody conceived, carried the baby for 9 months, and what? Deliver. Is it not a good thing? Thank God, though, people have this thing. But even though it has been found that under this process, 999 million dies every day, according to World Health Organization, in the whole world. You now start to introduce, even though this thing is a good process, but many dies on the what? On the process. You now narrow it. Out of these 339 million people that dies every hour, that 2.8 are of African origin. It means that the whole of those things is more in what? In Africa. So then you now come to, out of these two things in Africa, 1.99 this thing are happening in what? In Nigeria. And out of this one, greater percentage of it are happening in the rural what? Area. So to salvage our people from this, there is need to do what? Reduce maternal mortality rate in the rural area. You have created a picture of a very bad state of maternal health in the what? In the rural area. So I don't think anybody that has interest in the maternal mortality, reducing maternal mortality, we look at this background that you have created, you have stated, and say that you researching on how to reduce maternal mortality is what? Is nonsense. I don't know whether you understood this thing. So that's why I say you should show how valuable and necessary your project what will be. If you don't make that project to seem very, very important, so one of my colleagues will tell you that it must be a hell of fire what project. Something that if you don't do, many people are going down the drain. So if it is something that you can, okay, in the next, I can do it in the next 5 years, then why are you applying? Wait till that time, because what it means that it is not urgent. So that this thing must be valuable and what? Urgent. For them to do what? Part their money with. Sources and what? Capabilities. Things to consider. What you as an applicant can bring to the what? Table. The length and breadth of your what? Experience. That is why as a postgraduate student, you need to bring a team to work with what? A team. Because as far as they are concerned, you don't have what? The level of experience. So when you are building your research team, you must have somebody that has experience, has published wide, and make that person the member of your what? Your team. When that, they look at the, because you are going to state all the member of your teams, your team, and then what each and every one of them. So there's somebody they will see. Just like now, if they come to UNN now and heard of Obina Onjeku, Professor Obina Onjeku, in research, you guys, there's no need for supervision. In as far as this man is in this, because he's a renowned researcher as far as Nigeria is concerned. So that's what I'm trying to. So in your personal knowledge may not make you to scale through, but people in your team, if you bring the constitute a team with high people with very high reputation as far as research is concerned, it will make your this thing to do what? Sail through. So your knowledge base, your knowledge what? Base. For example, you're a lab scientist. You can't be getting something in agriculture to manufacture in maybe machinery in agriculture, because you are not an engineer that will manufacture. So in that case, your knowledge base is not there. So you can't be as a lab scientist and applying for business this thing as a mechanical engineer. You don't have that knowledge base. But that one that is your field, where you have mastery of, then you. Then physical viability. When they do that, can it generate something to keep it going? I don't know whether you are getting me. If you tell me, give me money to build this edifice now, and you tell me what it means, and I ask you, how do you, if you build this thing, how do you generate money to maintain it? Or is it tomorrow you please, that building that you gave me money to, you need the painting now. I want you to give me money so that I will go back and paint it. The painting is fading. So it must be what? Self-sustained. So that is the physical what? Viability of that project. Is something that if they help you to establish it, something that you are generating, it must yield what? Money. It may not be, as in you may not charge people so much, but at least the little you charge from the people should be enough to maintain the infrastructures there. So ability to match what? Funds if required. So when you ability to match funds when if required means that, you know, in every this thing you must do what? As I said, you must provide a cost. As I say, you don't say give me just 50,000, I want to build house. You must break it down stage by stage. So you must match the items with what? Their funding. So things to consider: matching the budget with the goal and the objective. Include a narrative to justify the number. So if you are putting 10 bags of cement, you should tell us why you needed 10 bags. Use calculating software to perform mathematical processes, and remember that a budget is what? A plan. If you plan well, you succeed. If you don't plan well, you do what? Fail. That is the one I'm telling you, that if you are putting this thing, you need to add exigencies, miscellaneous for what? Price change. Don't be so churchos to say cement is 10,000 today, so because of I'm applying it today, I must put 10,000. So you need to, is a plan. You, in that budget, you plan for what? Further for a change in price. Review the cost effectiveness of the project in relation to the overall budget, because in that their this thing, they will state how much they are going to do what? Give you. So if you call, if they say that their maximum this thing is 5 million, and then your budget is now 500 million, it means that you are not going anywhere. If matching fund or cost sharing is required, the funders organization announcement will state that. As I said, you must read that guideline very well, because everything you are going to do is as in enshrined in that this thing. So consider only costs that are significant to the proposed project. Don't over what? Inflate. I say don't over inflate. That doesn't mean that you will give the exact amount. Review the proposal for cost or budgetary limitation. Familiarize yourself with the cost principle. Pay attention to allowability, reasonability, and allocability. Allowability is, I'm putting it 15,000 naira now because there is tendency that before I finish, the price based on say the way things are moving in Nigeria, that I'm sure that before I complete it, the price should have risen to, so that by the time they reason with you, they, at least any reasonable person will know that you are not greedy by adding such an amount, because it is still allowed within the this thing. So the concept note is that write up that you do to submit to the funding organization. One, a brief outline of the project you have in mind. One, develop a project idea, as I've already said. The whole process starts with what? You having what? An idea. Search for donor to fund that idea. Many donor agencies may request a comprehensive what? Concept note about the project before submitting what? A project, a full project proposal. You said an European Commission grant application. These are the things that we need what? A comprehensive concept note, which in the addition, they will, you know, concept note is just like an abstract, a summary of what you are going to what do. You know that an abstract can be what? Structured or unstructured. So which you should find out from the what? Grantor's guideline. By the time you look at their guideline, you know the pattern at which they will write this thing. Can be highly structured, requesting in-depth information, while in some can be an overview of the project idea. So depending on the particular one you're writing, you will know whether they are the one that need in-depth proposal or just an overview. In this overview, you can just say like, I need a truck, one truck load of cement cost this. But in those ones that needed detail, if you say one truck load, you should tell them that 600 bags makes one truck load, and one bag in that thing is this. You see now, but the other one, it just tell us truckload of this thing at this, we are okay. But those that need details, you must break it down to. Concept notes can be written in a matter of hours, day, or weeks. So this is matter of, not a matter or hour. Steps in writing concept note. One, the title. The title should be concise and reflect the overall idea of the project that resonates with the donor's objective. So the topic you are writing must be in consonance with that of the what? The funding agencies. The background, it must have, after the title, the next is what? Background or what? Introduction. So which you should know from the guideline whether that organization uses introduction or uses background. So here you state the problem, explain the root cause of this problem, end by stating the opportunity available for you to make intervention and address this what? Problem. This, which is why I said that it must be what? A hell of fire problem, something that is needed urgently, and you have a solution to that. So always reference your narrative to give authority to the what? The fact. Like now, I can't say that 10,000 Nigerians die every hour from childbirth. And somebody will ask you, who are you? Are you an authority? So, but if they say the Minister of Health said 10,000 people die, who are you to query that? So that's why you should always what? Reference whatever you said, because that serves as what? An authority. So what should be the objective? The objective should be what? Specific. 5 wives and what? 1 husband. And that wife, 5 W's. What? When? Where? Who? With what? And then how? Your objective must answer this. What is the cause of that problem? When did it start? Where did it take place? Who is behind it? With what do they use to cause it? And then how am I going to do what? Remedy it. So it must be measurable. Your goal must have what? A quantitative what? Means of assessment of what? Progress made. A quantitative. That's why I said if you are writing and tell them that you need 10 billion naira to move Nigeria out of poverty, nobody is going to do what? Listen to you. But if you say you need 10 billion naira to take 500 Nigerians out of what? Poverty. Then they can ask, okay, let's not give you money, because we know that when you come, you gather that 500 people and we do what? See it. So it can be quantified rather than what? Generalized, because there's no how you will gather the whole Nigeria and check whether they lifted them out of poverty within that distance. So it must be achievable. It must be what? Achievable. That's the measurable is the reason why I say you can, as in research on how God loves you, but there's no way you can do what? Measure God's love. And it must be achievable. Something that you must do. That's why you can't tell me that you if you come now and tell me that I should give you money so that you go to space and build 10 bungalows for me. When you have not even, you are living in a thatch house, you've never even built a good house for yourself, but you will go to moon and then build a mansion for me. It must be relevant. Relevant that you don't just say, okay, I want to buy chocolate. Give me money. I want to buy chocolate for children in school. What is the relevance of buying them chocolate? What exactly will he do to improve their knowledge in school? Huh? No. We are just looking at this. So it must be time bound. That's the reason why you should tell them that in 2 months you are going to be at this level, so that when they come in that 2 months, they will see you in that level. So it must be. So when you will now come to the result, you know, you have stated your objective. You should now explain the what? The result. The outcome and what? Impact. This outcome is that in in 5 months, you say in 1 year you are going to take out 200 Nigerians out of poverty. So in 1 year, so in 3 months, at least all of them should have shops. So that is the what? Outcome. The impact of that outcome is what? That these men that you were able to give a shop has now hope. You know, they say that hunger that has hope doesn't kill. So they now have hope that in the next in short, any day they are going back, they will have money at least for biscuits to buy for the children. Is it not something that a man that has not been coming home with anything now come back with biscuits? At least the children will be what? Happy. So the impact is that it will bring what? Happiness in the what? That's the impact of that outcome, that the man has a shop at that time. He might not have blown as in completely out of what? Poverty, but that's the what? The impact. So the result, you state the impact of each of the results from the different what? Objective of studies. Then the major one is what? Budget overview. That's where the money comes in. You start to do what? Direct what? Cost, personnel. How many people are you going to employ? How much are you going to pay them? How many are they going to be in each section? What will be their salary? In that salary, it is not that I'm going to pay them 50,000. No. In that 50,000, you state which one is their basic, their housing, their transport, all the way they break down salary. Which one is even their tax, which you are going to remove to pay the government. So it is not something you just lump. So that's why you need people in those fields to help you. So equipment, what and what are you going to buy? These are where you keep it. Traveling costs. At least you will be visiting the site from time to time. And then publication and dissemination. Now you have finished your research and got your findings. So you need to do publish it in a journal. So this is where you now factor the cost. I want to publish it in this journal. This is how much this journal charges as an article processing charge. And then this is the conferences I'm going to attend to make sure that people know about my findings and the rest of them. So at the end of so you now have the indirect cost. The indirect cost in this thing is that you know that the university is going to take some percentage of that money for you for them training you in their institution. Your research group need to take some this thing. Then contingency fund. This is where you now do what? You add a miscellaneous, that this one will take care of variation in what? In prices with time. So that at no time will you run short of money to execute what you want to do. So after, when you have done this, before you submit, you do what? Spell check, check calculations, check due dates, check the submission package, and make sure that all required form and necessary attachments are included. Page number, font size requirements are followed, and all documents are in order, described in the word Funders Organizational Announcement, which is the guideline. Review the scoring criteria for each section and gauge how your proposal measures up. When you have done all these things well, look at all these things and make sure that every I's are dotted and every T's are what? Crossed. Then you can now hit the submit button. Because if you submit and there is a mistake, there is nothing like please let me retrieve that one and then submit another one. So when you have done that, let's now see the what? Okay, your submission is final. You can't make edit after submission. Don't wait until the last minute. Power outage happens and late submission are not accepted or reviewed. Mark your calendar. Grant review takes 3 months or what? More. An estimated date of award is included in what? The funders organizational, and that the date of award is anybody that scaled through this one. Those that will now be shortlisted for the oral interview with the interviewer, after which you will be given the first tranche of money. So what are the do's and don'ts? So the do's are, prior to drafting the proposal, check the grant making organization's mission and funding interest thoroughly. Look for key phrases and try to integrate those into what? Text of your proposal. Key phrases, maybe when they are this, every time they are interested in saving lives. If those phrases do come up often, so when you are writing your this, you too should be all this in order to save life, so that it will be as if in alignment with what they have. Check the organization's website to see if there is an archive of previous what? Winners. You can download the PDF of the previous winners, those that won the grant, and look at how they did their own, and you follow the same step. Spend half of your time on the abstract and aims. Send one-page sketch of your project abstract and aim to your mentor and co-invigilators early in the grant writing process, with the goal of kicking off an iterative process of review and revision. Match your methods and what? Aims. That means all those things you said you are going to do, match it with what? The appropriate what? Method. It's just like when you say you are going to follow up something and you now say that you are going to do a cross-sectional study, when it should be what? Longitudinal. So in that case, if you don't match it well, something that's supposed to be longitudinal, you say is cross-sectional, it means that you don't really know what you want. You can never have too many figures or what? Tables, which means everything you need to justify the reason why you are the best prepared to do that work. You do what? You add it. Present a logical solution to what? A problem. So that thing that you say is the problem that you want to solve, present it what? Logically.
Make sure you look into the what? Internal requirement or deadline for the opportunity. See if you can find someone from your field or department who has been awarded the grant for which you are what? Applying for. That person will help you to do what? Guide you on the write-up. Then get as much feedback as you possibly can. So tailor your proposal to a broad but educated what? Audience. What it means is that even though you are in medical lab scientist, a radiographer, a physiotherapist, there are words that you cannot be using. No, it's a scientific word that's supposed to be there, but there's a way you should do it that any other person outside physiotherapy can do what? Understand it, because if you start using the core scientific this thing, people that may be going to assess you, go through your proposal, may not be a physiotherapist, so they may not understand what you're. So that's why they say tailor to your proposal to a broad but what? Educated what? Audience. At least somebody that is well educated should know this, not somebody that is in that your profession, because the person that may be assessing you may not be in your profession. So give yourself enough time to write multiple drafts of your what? Proposal. Use boldface or italics to delineate section headings and make key terms stands out. Then remember your allies and take care of what? Them. Remember you are what? Allies. There is nowhere where saboteurs are not what? Are not present. These allies are, anything good must have people that will do what? Oppose it. So that's why they say, remember those people, because if you say you should be at loggerhead with your supervisor, or the department that you are in is a useless department, so you can do, when there is need to get information from that maybe the HOD, you may decide to withdraw the consent, and that will rubbish your work. So I'm just giving an example of allies. You know, people, if you say, I'm going to boycott the school, I don't want the school to know, so that if I get the money, they will not come and take their own. And finally, they say you must get a letter from your university. You now say, please, I got this, they have approved it, but they say, whom did you discuss it with? They say, you don't, okay, will you get out of the office? That's the end. So that's what I mean by remember your allies and do what? Take care of them. If you know how to romance them that time, at least to get what you want, do that. And so communicate clearly and precisely about what, where, how, when, and why of your what? Of your research. Be sure to think about your research in broad terms, both when looking for opportunity and when applying for what? Grant. Be willing to sell or emphasize an aspect of your research instead of the what? The whole package. And tell the same story in the budget and the proposal narratives. So these are the don'ts. What you don't do when you are doing what? Writing grant proposal. No, don't try to make the funding organization bend to your what? Ideas. So we say we are interested in health, and you are trying to let us know why water they should sponsor me to open borehole. So in that case, you are now trying to tell them, that one that you say you are funding, hold on, but fund this one that is so, and you don't use jargon in your write-up. Don't be hesitate to get in touch with the point of contact with specific question about guideline or what requirement. That's why you need to read it and read it and read it. So, and then you make yourself available for what? For their maybe webinar where those things can be what? Be concentrated, be explained. So if they say they have webinar on social distancing, and before that day you start to call them, how do you do this? And they will now say that this person is so much in a hurry. Maybe because it means that your interest is in that money, not even in the process of. Because if you value the process, you would have known that they say they are going to organize this thing on this particular day. So why can't you wait till that day so that you can hear them? Don't be afraid to ask your recommender for specific kind of detail or inclusion in your recommendation letter. You see, recommendation what? Letter. These are people that you must meet to do what? To recommend you to them. At least let them say that they know you. So, which will start from your department. So, if you are at a loggerhead with your departmental maybe head, and then you now look at, we want to give you $900 million. I say, so if you have this money now, that means it will kick me out from this office. So in that case, we die here. I'm not going to sign anything, and you are getting nothing. So don't give up. You don't give up. Because as I said, this thing is not as easy as we see. People have been writing for grant for more than 5 years, but some never even get a reply. But that doesn't mean that one day it will not click. Don't wait until the last minute to ask your recommender for supporting documents. So that if you have any quarrel, you can go and beg people, hire people from the village to go and beg him and so that he will reconcile you before the end, the last day. And don't stop in believing in what? In yourself, which is the major thing. If you do one and it didn't go, that doesn't mean that you are not good. So you keep on believing and what? Pushing. So these are some of the funding agencies that, so some of them, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, which is TED Fund, they fund anything about what? Education. If you come to say sports, they should give you money to organize the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. That's not their concern. They are mainly in. So these are places whereby if you feel that you're this thing, you can do it, you apply for what? This thing. If they approve it, they will give you the money because you are in education. And the World Academy of Science, this one is also for what? Education. Anything education. So another one, United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. These are for what? Education, especially education of the what? Of the children. So these are funding organization. So Fulbright means they also function as in fund education and I think health too. Then we have African Network of Scientific and Technological Institutes. These are mainly for engineering, and other physical sciences. They fund them. German government. So they fund all sorts of this. UK government Global Challenge Research Fund. This one, if any research, they fund it. So, and there are so many other funding organizations which, when you look at their their funders organization announcement, you know what they needed, the specific areas they sponsor, and then how to apply, whether their sponsorship cover Nigeria. That's the beginning of your search. If you cover Nigeria, good. And then, so in conclusion, grant writing favors a concise, straightforward approach that sets forth plan of action that is easy to understand and offers solid research and evidence as to why, how the project will benefit its target constituency. The best grant writing in the world won't accomplish its objective. It arrives in the mail after the window of opportunity has what? Been closed. So looking at the time is important. Keep a close eye on the calendar. Keeping a close eye on the calendar is essential, especially if the grant writer is pursuing multiple avenues for what? Funds. So you can gather. If you are able to achieve the whole thing, is your luck. So with that, we say thanks for your audience. So any question? Okay.
My question is, as you were explaining, you said that if you are doing grant writing, you will need to involve some experts at certain stages. And considering that by then you have not really, your grants have not, you have not really won the grant. So those people you're going to invite, are you not going to pay them? Or are they going to give you those services for free of charge? What of if you don't have money to, you know,
Okay.
maybe pay them?
Okay. The sorry. Hello, Major. I'm coming. I'm coming. Sorry. The reason is that the reason is why you need to bring them is that they should be the one to give you the cost of things. So you are not bringing them that you are going to pay them immediately. If that grant is approved, you will give them. It's part of, you are going to tell them that you employ them. That's why we say personnel cost. We say there's direct cost and indirect cost. So personnel are those people that you are going to employ, which you include them. It's part of this thing. Please, I will beg for permission because my colleague is having a yes, I will. Thank you.